Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's the Black Punk Critic here. We are live with the Hunter x Hunter discussion stream. This is another one. We've done, I want to say, two of them in the past. And this is going to be the third one. So, hopefully this is going to be a series that we can pick back up, that's going to be going on for quite some time. And I'm looking forward to today's discussion. All right. So very, very quickly before we get into it, if there's anyone out there who feels like they would like to join the discussion, if you want to come through, I will send out. I'll either DM you a Hangouts link, and you can join the Hangouts and come through and talk Hunter x Hunter if that's what you want to do. But if people don't want to come through, that's also fine. Like, Tails is here, they're great. Danchou's here, he's great. So, let's get into it, talk some Hunter x Hunter. Also, it's also so great to see people in the live chat. You know what I mean? So if you're here and you're watching and you want to throw a comment in there, that you're more than welcome to do that. I don't really care about likes or anything like that. So subbing is helpful. Just so, because if you want to get notified for another stream in the future, it's definitely useful. Although I tend to tweet when I'm going to put out a when I'm starting a stream or whatever. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's also useful. All right. I also have a Patreon that I'm working on currently. All right. I'm gonna have a video out for that probably tomorrow night, because I'm finishing up the script. Gonna have the recording done tomorrow early, and yeah, that's on Battle Angel Alita. So if you're into Battle Angel Alita, all right, check it out. It's gonna be dope. Yeah. All right. Enough about me. So let's get to the two folks that I have on here today. There might be some more folks coming through. All right, the more the merrier. So who wants to introduce themselves first?
Danchou.
Well, hello. It's me, Danchou. I'm from Danchou's Hideout. If you know me from Twitter, if you know me from my YouTube, I am your below average Jujutsu Kaisen YouTuber. I love Jujutsu Kaisen, as you guys know, and I love Hunter x Hunter. Also, be looking out for the Anime Tube Con convention coming 2020. I'm doing that with a good group of friends, and there is a special panel I am doing featuring Project Manga, and we were doing Hunter x Hunter and Jujutsu Kaisen. I was going to say JJK, but I don't want to abbreviate, so I'll say Jujutsu Kaisen. And what we're doing is we're talking, comparing and contrasting the similarities between the two, because as we know, Akutami is a huge Togashi fan, so it'd be nice to talk about the things that he does similar and that we notice between the two of them. So be on the lookout for that.
Nice.
Wow, that's so nice. So I'm Tales of Color. BMC is a good friend of mine, and I love his content and streams. And we both love Hunter x Hunter, and this is why I'm here today. And yeah, I'm looking forward to discuss Hunter x Hunter in these awful times we're in right now. So
Yeah,
definitely. There's something I've definitely been looking forward to having another sort of discussion stream, because I used to do it so often in the past, but I just kind of stopped because one, Google Hangouts just up and left, Hangouts on air, just up and left. They got rid of it. I'm not sure why. I haven't really looked into it, but I'm still upset about it. But it's fine because I have my setup. I know what I more or less, unless something happens, I know what I'm doing, so I can have these discussions. But today should be a good one. So we have a few things that we can talk about today. Some of the topics that we have on the docket are, maybe talking about sort of, the black whale. And this is something that actually Whimsy Dearest, shouts out to Whimsy. This is a topic that she came up with. She couldn't be here today, but, when we have the next discussion stream, hopefully she can come through and she'll be available. And also a few other people will be available as well. But she came up with this topic, just talking about the similarities between the black whale and sort of the quarantine that's been going on. So maybe we can talk a bit about that. Talking about sort of the like what makes Hunter x Hunter particularly great as a shonen manga and just kind of like a manga in general, and sort of talking about the nuances of that and so on and so forth. A few other topics I was thinking about. When Tagashi is going to be coming back. I know that's a sore spot for people, folks. But it must be discussed. It must be discussed. All right, you just got to like rip that Band-Aid off quick and then move on. All right. And then there's the idea. And then this is one that I think is going to be. This should get the discussion like really popping. We might start with. We might just decide on which one to start with, but I think this one is going to be pretty interesting, talking about Kurapika and his role in the story, and if he is going to die anytime soon, or if he's going to die at all. That's something I think we could definitely discuss, because I know me, I have thoughts. All right, I know Danchou got thoughts. I know Tails has thoughts.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about it. All right, but let's get into it. So what should we discuss first? Like, what do we want to discuss first? Like, and it doesn't have to be one of these things. It could be something totally different. Like if you have like something that's been on your mind and you want to, throw it out there, we could definitely, feed off of that, and that'd be dope. All right.
No, I just want to say that it's a shame that Whimsy isn't here, because she makes these really interesting videos comparing, social issues to, or what she can find in manga, or like the trolley problem. And I want to shout that out. And it's very interesting that she wanted to compare the black whale to Corona. My problem is that I don't know if I want to talk about Corona. Like, I don't know how to feel about how I feel.
Understandable,
but, yeah, but Whimsy would do a perfect job with that. Like,
I agree. She does have a very good way of connecting things without reaching too deep or reaching too far, and things being, cohesive. She does do a good job of that.
And she's also, really educated on literature because of her major, and she knows when she uses the term deconstruction, she knows what she's talking about.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. And that's something that's interesting. Like, I feel like all right, so maybe what we'll do is we can always sort of save that particular topic for when Whimsy is able to come through on a discussion stream.
Okay.
And maybe what we'll do is we'll start off sort of talking about if we feel like so maybe we'll just start with sort of like a broader sort of topic, discussing what makes Hunter x Hunter so nuanced. Like what is it about Hunter x Hunter as maybe not only just a shonen manga, like a battle sort of shonen manga or a battle manga, but as like a manga period. You know what I mean? Because I think sometimes we will sort of box in texts and sort of stories to make it a bit easier to discuss. And I think that's fine, but I feel like Hunter x Hunter is just a great sort of work in its own right? So maybe we can sort of talk about what are the things that we think are so great about it, like what makes it sort of stand out.
I think so. With one thing I would start personally is like, when I think about One Piece again, and I think one core difference to Hunter x Hunter is that Oda prefers the spectacle over nuance, and I think Togashi is not doing that. This is it's very hard to explain, but Oda has he has so many good ideas, like the fascist world government, and so but he's not doing anything with it, or he's not doing any nuance with it. And when you look at Hunter x Hunter and the politics and everything, we see, especially in the current arc, that a lot of nuance and research went into there. And this is something I miss about other popular shonen, especially Shonen Jump properties. Yeah, that's what I wanted to throw out.
Okay.
I think you just made a very great point, and it's funny you just said that, Tails, because just the other day I was trying to figure out what it was, because me and a couple good friend of mine, RL, were talking about what is it about One Piece and Hunter x Hunter that make them, they're both great in their own way, right? But there's this, and I'm going to speak for me and my friends that are biased. We're on the Hunter x Hunter end of things, right? So for us, we were trying to figure out why now, because for our personal experience, Wano just isn't it right now. And it's weird because it's like I've been waiting so long for Wano. And I'm not here to say that I feel like Oda has been dropping his ball writing wise, because I feel like that's an even deeper conversation. That's a discussion on its own. But in terms of what I'm looking for from this climatic arc, I think you pointing out spectacle versus nuance was something that we were just missing yesterday. We were trying to find the words, and you just nailed it. And I wish you were there, because now is because what we were discussing really was how Togashi doesn't want to give you this super flashy moment, even though they're there. You have them, but that's not what he's aiming for. That's not even what he's building up for. He wants everything to be built up to where even when it's your second or third time consuming it, not only does it still feel the same as that first time you got it, but you're still getting something new when you get it. And once you hit that peak, it's not like flash, flash, bang, bang. Okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like One Piece kind of does have that, even though it does have all of those other things we love. It has the world building, it has the lore, it has the foreshadowing.
It has massive lore.
Massive lore, yeah. It has all of that. But when it comes down to like when you're ready for Oda just to like hit you with something, you just be like, where? Like, you know, like sometimes you'd be like, okay, I get it, but like, I don't know. It's weird for me. I don't know. I'm not really feeling Oda like I used to. And I used to be younger when I was a huge One Piece fan. And I think that's a big part of it now for me. You know, I think now I don't really care about the goofiness of Luffy and the Straw Hats as much as you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not my thing anymore. So it's weird, you know?
Yeah. I think that to me that's perfect. This idea of sort of spectacle versus nuance. And for me, whenever I think about sort of the sort of like geopolitics that Oda sort of presenting with his story, and the sort of monarchy and sort of like critiques of the monarchy, but critiques that don't necessarily push in a way that in a way that Oda sort of you could sort of do a lot more with that, right? Because like to me, I'm like I don't like monarchy. To me, monarchy trash, right? Generally. So, but I think that, you know, and this was something that someone I can't remember who it was, but someone had mentioned that Oda sort of seems to be like he sort of seems to kind of keep things too close to his chest in a way where it's like, okay, I want to say something about this thing, but I don't want to say too much. I don't want to have to go too far.
Right.
Because if I do go too far, then I have to sort of
show you something.
I have to show you something. I have to explain why this particular thing, like why this thing just doesn't work on a sort of fundamental level, but why doesn't work on a sort of more nuanced level. You know, and like and to me it's like if you he doesn't want, like Oda doesn't want to explain why monarchies are trash. Right. And any sort of like level. He doesn't want to do that. He just wants to sort of be like, government is corrupt. Right? Governments can be corrupt, which is a very sort of like blanket kind of thing that you can work with your story. And it's easier to sort of imbue, like it's easier to imbue like spectacle into sort of blanket kind of general sort of ideas that you're trying to espouse through your stories. But with Hunter x Hunter, Togashi is like definitely more nuanced in a way, right? Where he's sort of like, right, where you see sort of the stuff with like the NGO and like the and what was going on with the Chimera Ants and what's going on with the V5, the V, is it the V?
It was V5
that became the V6, right? Like that, and like what and how that occurred, and the sort of, and again the nuance that's there, and that we are very aware of why that happened and how that's related to not only the political ongoings within the story, but our own sort of environment, our own like political milieu, right? So like that's what I think is so great. And when you make the comparison, it's very difficult to just be like, man, Oda just such a amazing job with the politics of, you know, like talking about politics in his manga. When you see something else that's going on, when you see all the other things that are going on in Hunter x Hunter, and you're like, but the nuance though,
right,
you know,
right.
So yeah.
And I think that goes back into why it's great as a whole manga, you know.
You know, and you know, and there's the next thing, you know, small details, you know, I wouldn't say Oda is overtly racist or stuff. I mean, he also has his own habitus, I would say, you know, that is not that great. But, you know, I mean, he tries to tackle, you know, Oda says, you know, in his manga, yeah, racism is bad. And then one of the main characters is basically a caricature. All of he said, you know, all of the characters were inspired by countries. I think one was Austria, even though. And then, you know, the only black character was only Africa. Like, it's a country and stuff. You know, it's this subtle racism in his work.
A continent. It's like, what? You know?
Yeah, you know, you see all of these countries being listed, and then one character, Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
okay.
You know, and it's easy, you know, I don't want to call Oda a massive raging racist or anything. Please do not think that, you know, but, you know, it's very subtle there, and I think over the years he could have put more research and better research into it and more nuance, but he never really went there. That's my impression of Oda.
I definitely have gotten the impression that Oda plays it safe. Well, I get the exact opposite impression from Togashi. I definitely think Oda plays it safe and Oda knows what works. So I'm going to stick with what works. And I think with that's gotten me where I'm like, okay, because when you really break down One Piece, it's literally, we went to an island. We beat the big bad guy on the island. We went to the next island. We beat the big bad guy on that island. And then we went to the next island. And then we beat the big bad guy on that island. And then you sit there, you're like, okay, I know that you're going to different islands to go do things, but like Hunter x Hunter is about a boy hunting and becoming a hunter. That didn't mean that we just went from, I'm hunting a fish, to I'm hunting a dog. I'm hunting a bear. That's not, you know what I'm saying? And I get that there's more to that. I'm not saying bro. That is Toriko. That is Toriko. Yes, that is Toriko. Yes. Yes. But when it comes to like with Oda, and I'm not trying to say that One Piece is all the arcs to One Piece are just random island, random bad guy over. Of course, there are other things added to it, of course. But when I'm talking about the blueprint, when you're really looking at how Oda breaks down how he wants to do it, you know he's playing it safe. He's not going to really throw a wrench at you that next arc. Not something that you haven't seen before. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to be a spoiler person, but in Wano, there was something that happened that was big, and the fans guessed it. Like, it was a theory that was going on a year before Wano. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it ended up being true. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen and stuff, but you can tell when you have a pattern, your fans are going to catch that pattern. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but can we predict Hunter x Hunter right now? Like, no. Can we do? We can, yeah. That's exactly 1 point for Hunter x Hunter as well.
Yeah, you can't.
The surprise. I think as we get older and as we read more, it becomes more and more difficult to just impress us, you know, a more adult reader who has seen it all. And I think Hunter x Hunter still has something to bring to the table, and this is what speaks for Togashi as a writer and, you know, the series as a whole, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think, like, in the chat, Boko in the chat sort of mentioned something it was like this person read my mind. I was thinking about Yu Yu Hakusho, right? And how it to me, like, and let me just read off the comment where Boko says, thing is, Yu Yu Hakusho is very much a series of arcs centered on repeated battles, and it gets kind of boring. So in Hunter x Hunter, he mixes things up often, and the series stays very fresh throughout. I think that's something definitely that I thought about. And it's not to say that I dislike Yu Yu Hakusho, and less because of that. Like, I adore Yu Yu Hakusho. I love that series.
It's cute.
But right. But I think that when it comes to sort of Hunter x Hunter, that's something that is a great strength. That's a strength. That's one of its strengths.
Right.
Where like we were talking about, like that sort of repetition of sort of plot, where you're like, okay, this thing happened. This they go to this island, they meet some people, they find out that something some bad guys doing bad things, and they save the people from the bad guy doing bad things, and they move on, and it's sort of like rinse and repeat in a very general sense, right? But like with Hunter x Hunter, it doesn't sort of like, and Yu Yu Hakusho, in a sense, it's very similar, right? Where it's like, you have those sort of repeated sort of things where, bad guys doing bad things. We got to save the world,
right?
So we got to figure out what to do, and that's sort of a common thing, and in a very general sort of sense. And that's not to say that there isn't nuance in those things, but I think Hunter x Hunter just kind of is like, all right, we're not doing that,
Right?
It's like, who could have predicted like Greed Island, like that whole arc after York knew, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
how seamless, right? And how seamless that was, but like just like I'm not expecting like Greed Island like right after. I'm expecting like, I don't know,
Something else, right? You're expecting something else, anything else, right? Anything else.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think was like when you say that too, when I was like, when you break down Hunter x Hunter, like if you wasn't trying to do the quick story point, like you said, when I'm explaining to you how you get from one arc to the other, it doesn't sound like really any other shonen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with how you go from Hunter Exam to Zodic Mansion to Heaven's Arena to York New to Greed Island, to Chimera Inn to Election Arc to Dark Continent. It's crazy how you can go to those things, but when you think about the arcs, you're like, whoa, this is an actual story. And I know that's crazy to say that, and people go, oh, yeah, well, One Piece is a story. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to say One Piece isn't a story, but when you think about your story, your life, you did A, then B happened. Then since B happened, C happened, And with Hunter x Hunter, it's just like that. A, then B, then C. And it's just, and it's streamlined, but it's complex at the same time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So when I started, to get into Hunter x Hunter, I was so weirded out when just the main characters were separated. Like,
yes.
After that was so weird for me. And like Kurapika got his entire own stuff he did away from Gon, away from Leorio, away from that was so weird to me. But it worked. It just worked
very well too. And it made you, and not only did he separate Kurapika, he made you care about another character within Kurapika's arc, Melody. Made you genuinely care about Melody. Now you want to know who Melody is. What is this song that she was a part of? Is she going to find it? What is she going to, you know what I'm saying? Like it really starts making you care about that. And then the villains that was in Kurapika's main story, you realize that they're just not just, we're just going to be bad guys to be bad guys, even though that is the thing, but they're from Meteor City, this city where everybody's treated like trash. It's like this, it's a crazy like thing where he's making it to where like characters in this world aren't just in this world to be in this world. Characters that I'm going to introduce to you, there's things they're trying to do. They have goals, they have ambitions, they have dreams. They're not slow. This is a world based on deception and logic, and the characters in this world know that, and characters that don't know that, Neon, are going to get played for a fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love that about Togashi, where he just makes that clear without telling you that. He just shows you that. Like he just look at how this happens, and you're like, oh, okay, I have to pay attention to what's going on. You can't just, which is why fights like Crollo versus Hisoka are great fights to me, because you forget these are two geniuses fighting each other. They're not just throwing hands. They're trying to figure out how to do this efficiently. You know what I'm saying? I love how Togashi does that. He tries to take away like Whimsy would love to probably say, the deconstruction of shonen. Like he really takes the whole arcs and everything that you think you're supposed to get from it, and he goes, no. Oh yeah, the main villain of this arc, no, the MC's not going to fight him. Take that away. Like I love stuff like that.
Yeah, and I also love like I was sort of thinking about on one point that you made, sort of think about like how these characters are very much so like their own, like they're their own individuals. They have they have particular thoughts and goals, and they only let the main cast drive their goals, drive like their sort of like decisions only so much, right? So like for me, like when I think about like the end of the dodgeball game, and right, like Hisoka's there, and you're like, this is the weirdest like mixture of like teammates, like this, it's just ridiculous, right?
Yep.
And then at the end of that, everything's done, and you think, okay, maybe Hisoka's gonna keep staying around. Yeah, and like in another shonen, Hisoka would have just can't stay around because he's like, I don't know. I mean, might as well. And he's just like, no. I don't care about no cards. I'm not interested. I'm gonna go back to doing the thing that I actually wanted to do, right? And like that I need to do because I want to fight Frollo. That's what I want to do.
Right.
This dodgeball game was cute. But I've already wasted enough time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He's like, I gotta go see what these folks are doing for me.
And you gotta remember too, I love how Hisoka really had no reason to lie about not finding the troop yet in Greed Island. They made that he really had no reason to lie about it, but he just lied because he felt like it. And then Killua wanted to break it down, and he made it such a big deal. And Hisoka's like, I'm just gonna keep messing with this kid, you know, like, and I love that because Killua. And when you really think about it, Killua, you find out that they're probably looking for an exorcist. You tell Kurapika, and then what? Kurapika goes, I know that already. Like, I know they can do that. Like, what do you want me to do? You know, like, I know they could do that already. I know they can find an exorcist. What do you want me to do about that? And then you sit there and you think, whoa, like, Killer was freaking out right now when Kurapika already knows what's going on. Everybody's already thinking. Everyone's already moving. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love that about the show. Nobody feels idle to me. And like you said, everybody wants to be their own person.
Yeah.
I love it. Love that.
We could, like, Hisoka is like one of the greatest people of all time, and then he's dead, but then he's kind of done that, and then he's suddenly a rubber man. Like, awesome.
No, he's definitely one of my like it's like I think everyone has like if not like one problematic fave sort of like character, then like multiple. I think most people have like at least like two like problematic like fave like sort of characters, and like Hisoka's like my like number one, like that's my like problematic fave.
Yeah.
Like, where like for me it's like don't matter, thirsty. I'm very open about how thirsty I am for Hisoka. I'm very open about that. Folks know. They know this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I take as many, opportunities as I can to let folks know whenever we're talking about Hunter. We're gonna talk about my thirst for Hisoka. It's a thing. Chairman election arc Hisoka is very, very attractive.
Yeah.
The hips though. All right.
Like the moment that we were in Heaven's Arena and Hisoka, like the lights were on, this bitch was walking in his heels like he was on the catwalk. I was like, I am in love. Like I haven't looked back ever since. Like, no.
What made me fall in love with Hisoka, and it's funny because in the Hunter exam, I liked him. He was just cool, but in Heaven's Arena, not the fight with I forgot his name, Castro, but when he was explaining the ability to Machi inside the room, Machi, when she was after she did the nin stitches, and just like the way he was explaining it, and he said it came up from a gum when he was a kid. It was like that moment right there. I was like, oh no, I like you. I was like, I like this guy. He's weird, but he's nice. Like, he's nice.
Now, so one thing I just liked about him was, or how this was written, like, he just casually asked her if she wanted to have sex with him or not.
Yes.
And this is something I just, like, this kind of blew my mind. It felt so natural. But it's something I've just never seen in a manga, I think. Or hardly ever seen. Like, he's just like that, yeah, you want to stay the night? She like, nah. He like, okay, cool. Okay.
Right. Next thing. I think their dynamic is really interesting too, especially when Togashi says that people ask like, why didn't Hisoka try to kill Machi, after the Heaven's Arena thing on with Crollo?
Yeah.
And he literally
Yeah.
was like, I just didn't want Machi gone yet. I didn't want to like do that yet. I just wanted her around longer and wanted to just, keep it, keep their dynamic going. And I was like, oh, okay. He just really likes their dynamic. He just likes them two being together. And that's pretty cool, Yeah, especially when what did she say? He asked, "What if I really did kill Crollo?" And she said, "That's impossible. But if you did, I'll chase you down to the end of the earth and kill you." like I love stuff like that with them too.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like I just like I think sometimes like we'll read into why mangaka will make a particular decision to do to keep a character around or something. Takashi's just like I just wanted her around. That's it. Like it's no don't think too much about it. Just it is what it is, and like let's move on.
Mm-hmm. And I like that. It's just the honesty of it. Like I want her next. she's here. What now? I really like that.
So what we could do, maybe what we'll move on to next is thinking about. So this is something I thought about for a while. Like if you do either of you have a particular thing that you'd like to discuss before we move on to like a different topic, or should I just like sort of like throw in a different topic and we'll sort of like discuss that a bit?
Well, I mean, I can sit here and talk about Hisoka like another 5 hours probably, but
I'm here. I'm here for
always
whatever.
Come back.
Yeah,
we can always come back to Hisoka. This is the thing. Like always.
Yeah, we can do anytime, any day.
One thing I kind of wanted to discuss is thinking about Gon's sort of situation within the story, and not only sort of just like as a character that's very much so in a sort of like limbo, narrative wise, but as someone who was in a lot of ways like saved by Aluka. And I mean, are we going with Nanika, or are we going with like because I feel like that's sort of like that's sort of what people.
Nanika, to me, Nanika and Aluka are two separate beings, but are both in cahoots. They're partners. They love each other. They care for each other. But they're still two separate things. That's how I look at it.
Okay, so what we can do is like maybe we can discuss that a bit, because I was having a conversation with another guy that I know on Twitter, and we were talking about the sort of like this idea of Aluka and Nanika as sort of Deus Ex Machina, and the way that they sort of saved Gon, because Gon should have been like
dead,
Dunzo, right?
Right.
But he's not Dunzo now. He's chilling, doing homework.
Gon has never ever been to school. Never.
Which is like homework. That's not something he wants to do. So I kind of want to discuss that, because I feel like that's a topic that comes up every now and then, and I have thoughts about it, and I know y'all have thoughts about it. So, and I know folks in the chat and folks that are watching also have thoughts about it. I'm really interested in sort of delving into this. So, do we feel like it is and I'm just gonna swear right now, because like whatever. Do we feel like it is an ass pull for like in terms of what happened? And if so, why? And if we don't feel that way, why don't we feel that way?
So, I don't know who wants to go first. Danchou go first.
Okay. So this is a very interesting topic. To be honest, this is a topic that I have a very strong opinion on this. And my opinion on this is that it was the most elegant ass pull to ever be pulled off in the existence of life. And this is what I say. And when I say this, I don't even want to call it an ass pull because it was so elegantly done. Does that make sense? But
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
when we
I feel you.
break it down, we know what it is. But like what Togashi does though is, and I think, and it's funny, I just had this conversation yesterday with people. What Togashi does is he transforms things that people don't like and shows you how it's okay to do it if you know how to write, if that makes sense. So plot armor, for example, we know our MCs always have plot armor. You're not going to die right now. We're only 15 episodes in. You know, like you're not about to die right now, right?
Unless
But
you're Jonathan Joestar.
right, exactly. But I love that cat. Thanks for catching that. But if you think about it, if you know how to write it out, it won't feel like it's plot armor. It'll feel like it just happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? It happened like that.
Yeah.
So with Aluka in the Nanaki situation, the fact that he even introduced a whole dark continent changes the entire aspect of that. You know what I mean? Because when you think about it, if he would have said this girl got this random nin ability, we don't know how she got it, but this is what she got. You know what I'm saying? Even Neon itself is confusing. You know, it's like this girl doesn't know what nin is, but she has this amazing nin ability. Even though we know that's a thing, but whatever. But when you look at Aluka and Nanaki, because he introduced this dark continent and he introduced that there are these creatures that already exist who are just like Nanaki but are closed off in this world. Now you got to sit back and go, wow, he just expanded his whole world in 1-2 chapters. You know what I'm saying? In like a volume, he just expanded the world of Hunter x Hunter, and people were like, what? You know what I mean? And so it makes you go, okay, you know damn well this boy should be dead, Togashi. Because if this was any other character, Togashi, they'd be dead. You'd let them be dead, you know?
Yeah.
But because of plot armor and because he's the MC, Togashi said, okay, let me just show my writing prowess while also giving Killua more shine, while also, bringing his character out. And also, I love the fact that he separated them. He didn't keep them together. I think people forget how beautiful that is, because keeping them together would take away the strength of what happened. It would take away what happened. Killua has to protect his sister now. He's figured out what he wants to do in life, and you found your dad. Now it's time to separate. Because if we remember, they had that conversation at Whale Island. Gon said to him, just follow me, come with me until you figure out what you want to do in the world and until I find my dad. And then they found it. That organically, without it even being, you know what I'm saying? More than, it didn't have to be this extra drawn out thing. And it was something that was Killua, it was within Killua's face this whole time. Both of them needed family as their final goal. Killua found out, like, whoa, I let this family control me, and I knew about this sister of mine that I just let be, treated like crap. And I know that I could be different because I have control over her. And I just love how he ended up doing that. Like, the best ass pull in ever. Just the best ever.
I think you put it really, really well. Like, it's something I wanted to say, but I was like, I don't know. I don't want to influence anyone or other people's opinion. I want to hear theirs first.
Right.
So, and I think, you as a reader have to decide, how you feel about certain things authors are doing. I'm just sorry for bringing a JoJo example, but it's just my go-to series. Because it's like Araki is not a consistent writer. We all know this, and I think videos trying to defend him and his plot holes are ridiculous. I just want to put it. I just want to say that, it's not the best writing, but it is what it is, and acknowledging it. But you need to acknowledge it and think about what you want to do with that, how you feel. You could say, okay, he's very inconsistent, but his series is so bonkers and asinine, and I don't really care about it. It works for me. Right. And this is how I feel about the Nanika Aluka situation. I was like, okay, Gon's the main character. Now this magical thing, something, sorry, is coming, and how he wrote that, it is an asshole, like Danchou already said, and I
Yep.
agree with that. But it was so when I continued to read Hunter x Hunter, and they climbed the tree and the stuff, and then they said, yeah, there's this white land and stuff, and I was like, I want to know what's there. I want to know. I want to know about that. And Alka just functioned as the first anchor to this dark continent, and she was just this like little introduction, and we didn't even know she was that. And this is what makes it interesting for me. This is not what I'm saying. And this just adds, I think it added more to the story than it took away from the story.
Yes.
And this is why it works for me, and why I thought it was that was actually pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I also think the way I sort of like sometimes I'm like, yeah, it is, but after talking with this guy on Twitter, like, like he made a pretty compelling argument, and I was like, So like, yeah, so I think where I'm at now is I don't think it's like an asshole, because I feel like, and others have said it too, and I don't think it is now. But what I will say is, I think, yeah, like it depends on who you are, and how attached you are to particular characters. So if you're attached, so to me, it's like if you're attached to a character, let's say like Gon, if you're attached to Gon, and Gon is like your fave, and you're like, I love seeing him in the story, and it's dope, and let's see him go in, like, then life might be a little rough for you right now reading Hunter x Hunter, because that boy ain't gonna be in I don't know if he's ever gonna come back into the story. Like maybe he will, but I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna be like a character that's like, okay, I'm gonna start training again, and like, I don't see it. I don't see Gon coming back. I don't see Gon coming back, and I think, to me, that's sort of the price. It's not a physical. It's not a physical price in the way that we sort of thought, where it's like, like folks in the chat, like he's like in a hospital, he's decomposing, he died, like he's like dying, right?
Right.
But it's more so like narrative wise, like he is not there. Like we don't like ain't nobody outside of Gon, like Gon stands looking out for Gon. I'm not looking out for Gon. I'm not a Gon stan. I don't.
Right.
I'm not invested in, like, because like I got all of that before. I got all of that before, his growth and the training and his relationship with Killua and Leorio and all these other characters. I got all that. I'm good. I'm great.
Right.
So to me, Tagashi was like, all right, I gotta do something. I can't just like go and run around on a black whale, being like, hey, let's go on another journey. Like, after all that other stuff happened to him,
right?
He had to be like, all right, let's get him all the way up out of here.
I can see that.
Go and doing homework. You know what I mean? Like, let's get him all the way up out of here, out of the story, because I think folks would be justified in sort of being like, damn, we gonna get some more Gon? Really?
Right.
Like, he's really gonna be on this boat? You know what I mean? Like,
but you
so
really, I think Gon's out of place on that boat. He's not a player.
Yes.
He doesn't fit.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit the
There is
scenario.
no reason for him to be on that boat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there could be, but nah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the thought process.
Yeah.
I do.
So I think it's like if you love you some Gon in the story, and you're like, and you really sort of grow attached to that to him as a character, and and all of the sort of relationships that he builds and all that stuff, then I think it does hit hard in a certain way, but
That's
You know
me.
what I mean?
And I can speak.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
speak for the people who are. I think I can speak for the Gon stands. I think Tails knows I'm a Gon stan.
Yeah.
I'm a Gon. Like literally, I don't know what it is about Gon and Yona. Like, don't talk about them. We fight them.
Ooh,
Like,
ooh,
I promise
yo.
you. I promise you. They're my soft spots. They're my soft spots. But and like when it comes to like with Gon, I am a Gon stan, and I did love his development, and I loved and his progression, and I loved everything about him and his relationships and how he carried people. But I think because I am a Gon stan, I understand why he's not. Well, why he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like because I do love him so much, because I do appreciate all that I got from him. I need you to go do homework. Like I need my brother to go do homework. I need my little brother to go sit down for a little bit. You've been through too much, you know. And I think that's where I'm at. That's why I think people who are a little upset about Gon not being there, I go, it's okay because he did what he had to do. It's Kurapika's turn. You know, like it's time for Kurapika to shine.
I mean, Kurapika was kind of built up as the second main character the moment he
Yes,
kind of, split it from the group and did, his
for
stuff.
sure.
In my opinion, he was built up to be more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, okay, so this is something I also kind of wanted to talk about. So I guess we can kind of transition into that because we just kind of started talking about Kurapika a little bit. How do we feel about his well, no, let me just like be straight up about it. Like, do we feel like Kurapika is going to die anytime soon? Do we feel like he's going to die overall? Like, is it going to be like at the quote unquote end of the story? Is it going to be sooner than we think? How do we feel about that? How do we feel about Kurapika's
it's Hunter x
life
Hunter,
prospects?
so there's a possibility the characters are dying.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, what are your thoughts? Like,
I personally, I have to be real. I don't see Kurapika coming out of this 100%. Like, I just don't see him coming out 100%. I just don't. If he does, yay! Like, like I'm here for it. Like I would love it. I think that the relationship between him and Wobble is something that Togashi is about to F us up with. I have a very powerful feeling that something with him and Wobble is going to be real. Wobble, him, and Tessay. I don't know why. Just that I feel like the three of them are going to have something way bigger going on than we think. But I don't know about if I think he's going to die, man. It just seems like it to me, because he's in such a stressful situation right now, and I know he has a lot of things working for him, but I feel like he got a lot of stuff working against him that he has no control over,
Yeah. So I mean, I want to throw in Attack on Titan. It's a manga I despise, but I was reading it years ago, and I was thinking, this character is not needed for the story anymore because we already have a second tactician. This character is not needed anymore because we have a second replica of that one as well. And this is, how I just predicted who was going to die. And certain things that happen, like the carrying Titan and then one of them hid in a barrel or some shit. Like, we predicted that like a year ago or some shit.
Yeah.
But, with Hunter x Hunter, I have to admit, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, it's kind of a little like, I don't know. Like I haven't connected to Kurapika in the way that I've connected to like Leodio, Gon, and Killua. Like,
me too.
I love them, and that's just me. Like I love like generally, I love characters who are that sort of like, they have those like heartwarming, like they have a lot of heartwarming moments, and they form like these relationships that are really just like awesome, and they make you happy, and I don't know, and like Kurapika does not. Like he's not that kind of character. Like, it's not to say that he doesn't have that at all. Like within his narrative arc, right, within his sort of like character arc. But like, I'm not, like I love watching him. Just like it's almost like it's almost like a is it a Schadenfreude
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude, right? Schadenfreude. Like I'm terrible. I'm sorry about the butchering of the pronunciation, but that right, like that concept, and just I enjoy seeing Kurapika go through it. Right, like I do.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
when I
exactly.
like on the boat, and it's almost immediately he gets like, because we're expecting Kurapika to be like, oh, he about to treat all these folks like he did the Phantom Troop. He about to just go in on them, and then we get to this arc, and he is almost immediately like drowning. You know what I mean? He's like,
Yes.
oh, I'm in over my head. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I know what I'm doing, or I thought I knew what I was doing. Now I gotta like blow everything up just to like stay afloat.
Yep.
Like he is struggling, and you love to see it, because that's sort of where, let me get this guy. Let me get this person out of here. All right, so, just like. He's struggling.
Yeah,
he's struggling, and
struggling
it's just the
hard.
way that it's just like the way he's struggling. It's just really, it's just very well done. Because again, he's a genius. He's a genius. The man's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
But Tagachi's like, no, not today. You gonna struggle.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is with, I recognize that Kurapika is, an interesting character, but out of all the characters, he was always my least favorite. And I don't know why. Maybe, Hunter x Hunter started on a very lighthearted note. And there were just so many, and Kurapika has always been the serious person. And I think he kind of lacked the moments like Killua and Gon had that made you really go, oh, and shit. I mean, it's his character, but it was just not for me, I guess. And it didn't change. And it didn't really change over the course of the series. I mean, the tone got more serious. Like, I know I agree, he's, many people are fans, many people like him, many people like his ambitions, that he's a genius. I get that, but he kind of lacked a certain humanity. Not that he's inhumane, but a certain humanity for me to connect with him. Yeah.
I understand that. I think with Kurapika, it's funny because the things that I notice people like Kurapika for aren't the reasons why I really like Kurapika. Like, as you just said, Tails, people always go to like the really superficial things about his character, like he wants revenge and that he's a genius. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen that before. It's not like we've ever seen that, And I think with me, because and the reason why I love Kurapika so much, and he's one of my top favorites, is because he's pretty much the same character as the main person he's hunting down, And then I think after getting that backstory with what happened with him in the Kurta clan and how that went down, and how they decided to believe in him and let him be that one to just leave and go do his own thing, and then he finds out time later they've been killed. And then now he's on his own, and then now he's trying to get this revenge. Now he has to go find the tools and the keys to do this. Now his journey turned from being a hunter because he wanted knowledge and to be this good guy to, okay, now I'm going to be a hunter because I have these people to hunt for the greater justice. And I think the thing about Kurapika's humanity that makes me like him is because he's a hypocrite. And like we all are to a degree, and he's a hypocrite where he wants to fight to protect people, but he won't let people fight to protect him. You get what I'm saying? And he wants to be strong enough to fight on his own when he's fighting against a group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this weird thing with him where he's like Kurapika, you're letting your pride and your rage defeat you, where those are supposed to be the things that make you above and beyond other people. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's why I really enjoy his character, because Togashi has this internal conflict that he does so subtly with him that I feel like this is the arc where it's going to blow up in his face. It didn't really blow up in York New. It kind of was, he realized like, okay, my main goal is to make sure my friends don't get killed. So let me save Gon and Killua and then try to get Crollo obsolete for a little bit. But I think this arc is going to be the arc where he's like, he can't have best of both worlds, you know, and he's going to have one or the other. And to make a point to someone in chat, he brought up a good point. KZ Kanmuru, he said Kurapika 100% isn't going to die. Nitro Rice is a thing, y'all. You got to get to the Nitro Rice, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get on the Dark Continent and get to the Nitro Rice. We got to see he get there first, you know, because people forget that they're not going straight to the Dark Continent on this Black Whale right now. They're going to a pseudo fake continent that is unexpected. You know, people aren't living on to put these civilians on because they're not taking civilians to the Dark Continent. That was the V5's whole plan. Just, you know what I'm saying? They was like, we're not going to really send civilians there. We're going to put them on this island right outside, let them think they're doing something and colonize, aka America. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to let them do their thing while we actually send Beyond and the Hunters to the Dark Continent, you know? And so it's like he gotta get to the fake continent first with this war going on before he can even get to the Dark Continent to get to Nitro Rice, you know? So it's a lot. It's a lot going on in this arc, and anybody could die. Anyone.
Yeah, I'm really
except for Hisoka. He's a rubber man.
Yeah.
Hisoka's not going. Like, yeah, Togashi don't want him gone. Togashi want him here forever. Togashi wants him here forever.
My headcanon is that Togashi is also horny for Hisoka. That's why he's still here.
Yes, that's true. I can see that. I can see
that. I can definitely see that. There's no way he drew him way too thick in that election arc. Okay, he drew him way too thick.
Well, like the cover, like of volume, what is it? I have it
34 with Crollo and Hisoka. 34.
Yep.
No.
My favorite volume covers.
Wait. Yeah. 34. Yeah. Like,
okay, so maybe what we could talk, we could do a little bit of like a bit of dark content discussion at the moment. One thing I do want to do it's for like the next discussion is definitely get like a expedition arc centered maybe like discussion where we could sort of like reread those chapters and kind of talk a bit about maybe do one focused on that. Maybe we could, I don't know, we could do some more stuff there too, but I feel like maybe for the next discussion, something we should talk about is like the expedition stuff. Like for that. But I think what I want to kind of do now is maybe we could go and talk a little bit about when do we feel like, well, who will be the first Phantom Troop member on this boat that Hisoka gets? Like, who's gonna be the first? Like, who do you think is like, okay, it probably gonna be this person because they kind of whack and nah. Like, you know, who do we think?
Shizuku. I think he rich. And oh my God, Benelenov, the Mummy.
Yeah, one of those two. I don't know why, but I feel like Franklin is like a little too. His chest is a little too out. You know what I mean? Like he's a little too like, I'm just gonna sit here. You know what I mean? Like it's like, and I get that. I understand it because like he's confident in his strength and he's like, okay, I got this. But I feel like because of that, he gonna be gone real fast and like folks are gonna be like, oh, they got Franklin.
But you know, the thing about Franklin though is I get the exact opposite vibe because Franklin don't talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime Franklin's open his mouth, he done says something pretty accurate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even when he said he gonna sit there, he goes, Hisoka's looking for us. Like that's what he said. He's like, he's looking for us. Like he's trying to figure out what we're doing as we speak. So I'm just gonna sit here and figure out what happens, you know? But Franklin don't like Hisoka. He never liked Hisoka either. That's another thing. Because even in York knew when they were talking about Hisoka having skills, Franklin was like, I think y'all just giving him a little too much praise. Franklin and Phaeton was like, I think y'all just talking his head up. Like, they wasn't really vibing with him. So really, them the two I really wanted to see him fight.
Now, so Franklin was like, I've seen Hisoka's earrings. They're not doing it for me. No. That's how it went.
His earlobes aren't long enough. I'm not feeling them. I'm not feeling them. That's hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
But literally, Shizuku and Benelinov, they're literally scared of Hisoka, like because they both said their abilities don't match well against his. So that's why I definitely think the two of them will be bodies for sure.
Yeah. Before I kind of get into like sort of like a bit of that, Tails, what do you think about like who do you think is going who do you think is going out first?
I'm just there, listening to Danchou and like nodding silently. Like, yeah, good theory. Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to tell.
I personally don't really care. If that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
no, definitely makes sense. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, because I feel like, I feel like whoever is first is we're gonna be like, oh, like it's gonna be some like it's gonna be dope. Like we're gonna be like, oh, Hisoka's really doing that. He's really going out like that. Mm-hmm. Like he's catching bodies like that. Okay. And I think it's gonna be more sort of like the spectacle, right? The spectacle of Hisoka, and right, and in the sort of way that like Kurapika's like watching him is sort of like it's beautiful. It's like his skill, and like in sort of killing folks. So I feel like that's kind of what people are maybe looking for in terms of the first kill. But yeah, I think it might be probably Benolinov, right? It's probably gonna be him.
Yeah.
Probably. Because we're just kind of like I don't know too many folks who were like, oh, Benolinov.
Right.
Oh my goodness,
exactly.
Let's talk about him for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how many people are like that. So, yeah, he's probably gonna get it first. He's probably gonna get it first, unfortunately.
And
it's fine.
Like Tails said, her saying she doesn't care because what I find more interesting. How and who is Hisoka disguised as? That's what I want to know. Where is he at on this boat? What is he doing? Who is he? Who is he under? Where is he hiding? What are these like little hints Togashi been given in these volumes? Like what are you, you know what I'm saying? Like what are you doing? Like where is he at? Like I'm more interested in his thought process of how he decided to go about it than I even am in seeing him execute. Does that make sense? It's weird. Like I just want to know how he's doing this in this stressful situation on this boat. He's maintaining being covert while being searched for by the mafia and Phantom Troop, literally from the bottom of the boat going up. You know what I'm saying? He's somehow positioning himself to be able to take out spiders. We know he either got something going on with Illumi, or he purposefully told Illumi, yeah, you try to kill me too. Like I'm trying to figure out what is Hisoka's head at.
I mean, Illumi wants to see Hisoka dead.
Yes, he does. Right.
Yeah.
I think so too. But people were trying to say, because apparently there was some deal that the engagement that they have where now there's a contract on Hisoka's head for that Hisoka put on himself to Illumi to come and kill me first. So Illumi joined the troop trying to get him first or whatever. But people are theorizing, well, maybe they're just working together again. Personally, I think that's done. I genuinely think Hisoka wants all eyes on him right now. I genuinely do. I think he wants all eyes on him, and he's going to flex on everyone. Like, I really think he's about to come and flex on a lot of people right now.
He's that bitch.
Yeah. I'd agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I feel like Hisoka and Illumi's relationship is it's fun to it was fun to watch, and it still is fun to watch. Like, to like sort of rewatch. But I think it's probably like kind of over. Hisoka's just like, all right. Yeah. He's like, I've been waiting, and then what that bring me? Death. So literally. I'm not doing that no more. So yeah.
And that's the mindset. That's the mindset I think he's at.
Yeah.
I still think Crollo gonna be an issue for him because this is a whole different Crollo we dealing with. This is a Crollo who don't even want to have fun no more. I just want to kill you now.
Yeah.
I just want to kill you now. So I don't know how that's about to go. I generally don't even think Togashi's going to give us that rematch. I just don't. Part of me doesn't think so, just because of what he said in chapter 34. I'm sorry, volume 34, where he was like, he wanted to make the fight, a one-sided fight, stuff like that. I don't think he's really going to do a genuine, rematch. But if he does, it's going to be crazy. So I'm excited. But I just want to see how Hisoka's playing people because it seems like he has everything planned. Like he's ready. He seems ready to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like, and I think that's, to me, that's probably my number one sort of like interest in the arc in terms of like where it is, like with the succession stuff. Like I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm invested in, but I think the number one thing for me is like the chapter when Hisoka pops up, like that, like
yes,
that's gonna be like such a massive chapter, like within just kind of like anime Twitter, manga Twitter, whatever. Like folks are gonna be talking. They're gonna be like, folks are gonna be sharing the panels, and it's gonna be a good time. But yeah. I also don't think we're gonna get another Hisoka Crollo battle in the same way because I think Togashi understood that if I want to write this battle in the way that I think does both of these characters justice, it's got to be like in a place like a Heaven's Arena, as opposed to like the Black Whale. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna get like that, but I do think we might get some like teamwork, a little bit of teamwork, like with Crollo and Shizuku and Bonobo no. But one of them, I feel like if that happens, like I don't think, but if that happens, Hisoka's taking one of them out. Like not Crollo, but
no, I think he's taking one or both of those other two out. Definitely one of them.
Do we feel like it'll happen on Crollo's watch? Like, do we feel like Crollo, like...
No. Okay. They'll because they're moving together right now, but I think he'll be like, you go here, while they're like in the same vicinity, and then one would get taken out, and then he'll pick it up, and then another one might get taken out as he's getting there, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe one gets taken out, they go box, and then maybe another one is taken out. So you could say one on his watch, one not on his watch. Togashi just don't want you to know what's going on, bro. I'm tired. Like he just want us to be lost.
Okay. Okay, so let me check out this. So maybe we can do is talk a little bit about this is something I definitely want to talk about. Because I kind of want to save like the succession and expedition stuff for the next stream.
Okay.
Like when we sort of set it up, because I want to make sure that that's like the thing that we focus on. We have enough time to like read, like read chapters and look at some of the things and like have that stuff kind of like fresh. That's not to say that we couldn't talk about it now, but I feel like there's some other things that like that are maybe a bit more accessible in certain ways.
Yeah.
So favorite arcs. This is something that like I just love hearing other people's thoughts about what their favorite arcs are and why. I definitely love to hear from and shout out to the chat. The chat has been like awesome. The chat has been phenomenal. Like y'all are on it. Y'all are on the Hunter. Greatness. I love to see it. So but favorite arcs, like what if we have one favorite arc, and I feel like most of us like I think we all do. What is that favorite arc, and what is it about that arc that sort of just puts it above like everything else? And however you want to like describe the arc and explain it, or your reasoning. But like, what is it about that arc about that arc that makes it your favorite?
I think it's something I already touched upon, that when you get older and just read more and more, it's harder to be surprised by media. And I gotta say that the Chimera Ant arc, it just completely surprised me as a whole and really sealed the deal for me that this is really a different series I'm consuming right now, or this is something different. And for that reason, I would say it's my favorite part of Hunter x Hunter, but I wouldn't say that Fan Troop arc, where Crollo was like pretending to be this conductor of a big concert while everything was going to shit. And the epic music, especially in the anime, the epic music was playing. I think that was pretty awesome. And I think every arc has something charming about it. Because when I rewatched, I wasn't too big into Hunter x Hunter when I started it. But then when I rewatched it, I just appreciated it more and the more lighthearted stuff. And yeah, but you know, I mean, there are franchises where I say, okay, I don't like an entire arc, and for me in Hunter x Hunter, it would kind of be a bit Greed Island arc. It's something I did not feel, but for mostly I would say I'm very content with the series as a whole, and for a long running shonen that still hasn't lost its steam, I think that's a huge compliment, actually. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Looking at you, Promised Neverland.
Oh Lord, I can't even. I'm still sad about that. I'm still sad about where that's gone. It just.
Same.
Yeah,
That's my
okay.
whole
I can't talk.
Yeah.
I can't. It makes me sad. It makes me sad. You know, because it's like, you know me. I love Emma. Emma is like, this is like in another life. Emma would be my daughter. You know, she would not have to deal with all the just nonsense. All right, and to just all right, but I don't know what's going on with the story right now. It's all right. Moving on.
If I have to piggyback, unfortunately, and I hate being that person to keep boosting the Chimera Ant arc sometimes, because I know that can seem like the mainstream answer, you know. But the Chimera Ant arc, I genuinely watching Hunter x Hunter at the age of 14 years old and seeing the Chimera Ant arc like for my first time consuming Hunter x Hunter arc back in 2011. I've never seen anything like that. And by that time period, I was a big One Piece fan already. I was a big Naruto fan already. I was, I loved anime in general, period. Like that was just my thing. But it was something about that arc the first time. And even to this day, it's weird. Like I could go on this big thing about why I liked it, but I still feel like I'm not explaining enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because when I watch it, it makes me feel like I'm there more than anything else I've ever watched. It's really, or even read. And it makes me feel like I have to really understand what these characters are going through, because there's this big bad we have to deal with, but we can't just deal with it, We can't just buckle up our bootstraps and go, let's team up and use the power of friendship and go raid the palace and hope we come out with the win. Like that's not how it's gonna. It's like we have to break down how we're gonna separate these ants, because they're already an army. How are we gonna get these royal guards off of the king? The king himself, Miriam and Kamugi. My God, like, can we? The way those character dynamic and just how Miriam grew in 40 days, in 40 days, what he turned into as a character, as a person. I even would like to say as a human being. He understanding who he was as an ant and as a human, trying to get a grasp on those. He wanted to wipe away the word of inequality. We don't even know what that means. What is that? Like that was his mentality. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then even seeing Gon turning into a monster, ignoring Killua's feelings. Like it was all of these things that this one arc did, where as a young kid, I had so many emotions going through me. I didn't know how to really process it until my second time watching it, you know? And then when I watched it, it was like, okay, it just got me so emotional. And like Tail said, as a reader, you go, okay, whoa, this is a serious series. This isn't something that I'm watching just for me to go, okay, I had fun. I'm watching this and I'm like getting something out of this. Like I'm really watching this like, whoa, like what does it mean to be a human? You know what I mean? Like what like that type of stuff to me is it's profound how he was able to do that, you know, in that way.
Yeah, there's definitely I think that's definitely like another something that I would love to like another sort of talk. Maybe what we'll do for the next stream is we'll sort of have like a half and half stream. We'll have one half of the stream we'll talk about the expedition and succession stuff in like, you know, like in depth. And we'll also talk about the Chimera Ant arc in depth as well. So like one half of the stream will be dedicated to the you know, one arc. Well, two, because expedition is sort of like two, but you get the idea. You get the idea.
Yeah, because I think it's on how they connect too. They connect so well.
Yeah. I mean, so for me, it's like Hunter x Hunter, like, you know, it's very twisting and turning. You don't know what's coming, and you know it had some stuff. You know, it changed arcs and tone and blah blah blah. So I saw the Chimera Ant, and I was like, okay, I hate bugs. How long is this gonna take? 2 episodes. I just want to move on. this was my expectation. Like I remember it to this day. Where I was like, okay, yeah, bugs. I hate bugs. Let's move on. What's coming next? I've never been so wrong.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, for sure.
So I think for me, I feel like if people allow the expedition arc and the succession arc to sort of like be put together as one whole, that would be it for me. But
understandable.
If we don't and we sort of like split them and that's fine. I think I'd have to go with, I don't know, like, cause I think I gotta go with, to me I gotta go with Succession, and the reason and sort of here's why. And here's why. It's not to say that I don't like immensely enjoy like all the arcs in like Hunter x Hunter. They're all so good, and like I remember when we had that stream with Roger and with Roger's base and everybody else that was sort of in that stream where we ranked the arcs. I had put Chimera first and then Succession second, but then like I was like, am I kind of going with the flow? Am I just kind of putting Chimera because everybody else put Chimera first? And then I was like, you know what? I gotta put Succession first because that's how I feel. Like that's my like legit feelings about like how I feel about that arc. And here's why. Because when you think about sort of the ways in which everything sort of flows in terms of character interactions, the way that Nen is utilized, the way that we're learning more about different types of Nen, about different types of Nen categories and different types of Nen abilities, like. It's just like when you're someone who has read Hunter x Hunter and adores it in a way so that, you know, if someone asks you a question about Nen, you'd be like, well, you know, the complexity of it, like you could like do like a lecture, you know what I mean, like on Nen. Like if someone was like, all right, I need you to do an hour and 15-minute like, you know, classroom lecture on Nen, I'd be like, I got you. Let's do this. You know, let's put the syllabi. Like let's get it going.
Right.
I could do that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I could do that. And I think that level of just like love for the series and all that complexity like really makes me love the Succession War that much more, because I'm like, damn, like this is like really nuanced stuff. And you have to go through this entire series to really get all that nuance in that arc. And if you don't, you're like, what is all this? Like this is so much stuff. Like this is like I feel like I'm like, it would be like the narrative like equivalent of like a hoarder's house. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where you're like, this is so much stuff. Like there's so much stuff. Right? And like when you like, I don't know, I'm just, like, give me a second. Like I'm trying to sort of like find the words, but it's like, but if you have that background, if you read everything is just so smooth. You're like, oh, Parasicnan, I got this. Parasicnan, I got it. I know what you're talking about, Tagashi. I see you, but it's not. But still, we get the explanation. Still, we get the okay. We like there's different sort of categories to it. There are different types, and depending on what kind of ability you're using, this is why this particular effect comes to be, and like there's a payoff. To me, like the Succession War arc is like a payoff of reading everything and like going through going on that journey and understanding like why these characters do act in the way that they act and why Nen works in these particular ways. It's just beautiful. But I think what I also really love is like if you're like a person that loves the nuance in the interactions and all these different factions, then it's like a phenomenal arc. It's like the politics of it just work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The politics of it just work.
And I think, and that's funny that you bring up the dark, the getting ready for the expedition and all that type of stuff, and like them actually being on the whale, like that being two separate things. Because I wonder, can you really separate them? That's what I start to wonder. Can we? Right? Like, I don't really know if you can sometimes, because I want to keep them together. And the only reason why I choose Chimera is because it is a concluded arc. That's literally my only reason.
Yeah.
And I was literally just waiting to see what Succession happens, because I'll be honest with you, so far Succession isn't my favorite to follow. Genuinely. Like so far I'm having the most fun trying to figure out what these nin beasts are going to do next. What the hell is going on with Tessay? I'm really trying to figure all of these things, and I'm loving going through it. And that's why I love the points that you make of that. Why it's your favorite, because of all the stuff that we get before. That's why you could appreciate all of this now. I mean, you got to think, when we met Kurapika, he was trying to become a hunter, and now he's a Zodiac.
Yeah.
And now he's a Zodiac moving on this boat, doing something that none of these Zodiacs have done in the past in Hunter history. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in the same boat as them, comes in and is on the same level as them, outthinking them in ways, finding traders they couldn't find. And I just, man, you about to make me change my pick. Stop it. It's just so good. Like I agree with you, man. I agree with your take on that. I really do.
Yeah. I think one more thing before we sort of like move on to sort of like the next kind of like I guess topic is, I think one of the biggest sort of reasons I mentioned the politics, and I think it would be so easy for Tagashi to just be like, all right, let's put everybody on a boat and let's just see what happens.
Exactly.
Right? It'd be so easy for him to do that, because it'd be like, all right, we got these princes and they got these factions and they're just gonna destroy it. Like, it's whatever. We're just gonna focus on them and that's gonna be it. But it's like everything just works. Everything just like the way, like just like the way that like the whale sort of like is sort of like a visual sort of like metaphor for class systems and like caste systems, and like it's like little things like that, and like the way that Tagashi was like, what we need on this boat? We need a court. We need a judicial court.
Right.
Like
exactly.
I'm like, wow. I would have never thought to have a judicial court on a boat.
Literally, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because it's just like, you need these checks, because if you don't have that stuff, these princes and these folks are gonna go around doing whatever they want to do. But because you have that judicial court, they got to be like, they can't just be like, well, we gonna take these folks out, and we're just gonna do that, and that's what it's gonna be. Now you got to be like, all right, if I'm gonna take this dude out, or that woman out, or that person out, I got to think about, how do I do this in such a way where I don't get in legal trouble? Oh my goodness.
That's a beautiful way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Like that's so great. To me, that's like something that I think separates the Hunters from like the Hunter x Hunter Hunter x Hunter from like all these other like battles sort of shonen that are going on. Like again, I'm not expecting any other battle shonen to have a judicial court on a boat. I'm not expecting that. I don't think so. So to me, and have it work, right? And have it work, and not be like, oh, he just threw this in there because he wanted to throw this in there.
Right.
It's like, no. There's a reason for this.
Right. No, you're right. You're entirely right. I agree with you, man.
I love it. You know, I really do. I guess one thing I wanted to sort of I don't know why, but my mind just like went to like this like really like dark place. I think maybe because of Chimera and talk about Chimera, but and our discussion about it. But like one thing I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be fun, but it probably won't be. I thought about maybe and of course the chat can like, you know, like of course the chat, like I love the like the stuff that's going on in the chat. But maybe what we could think about is like, what are like, and you have two choices. You have two choices. What do you think are like the two darkest moments within like Hunter x Hunter? What are your two dark moments? Wow. What are the two moments where you were like, yo, this manga though, this anime though, this is a lot, right? Like what were your two like, this is a lot?
I think the moment that for me that hits me the hardest as the darkest moment is the moment that I feel like partially the 2011 fumbled, right? They didn't do this as I wanted, right? And that was Gon going into his rage mode against Pito. And I know people are gonna hear that and go, "What?" You know, because like it's a great animated moment, yes. But what they failed to put in there, that which Madhouse did a few times in Hunter x Hunter, which makes me upset because it's taken away from Togashi's nuance. You know, is Gon didn't just sit there and just like go, "Wait, you're not gonna heal him? I don't care anymore," and then got mad. His brain started processing everything very, very quickly. His brain said, wait, he's not going to heal him? So Kite's really dead? Wait, so does that mean I killed Kite because I was trying to help him? This is actual dialogue in the manga, you know? And then, but also in giant letters, it says, no, it's not my fault, it's his fault. Pito killed him. No, it's your fault because you insisted on having your way. No, and like it's literally all over. Like it literally looks like sporadic, you know, like literally you can see within Gon's head that his brain is trying to piece together what the hell is going on, you know? And he's like, no, it's my fault. And then finally his brain like shuts for a second. He goes, no, I don't care anymore. That's when he says, I don't care anymore. And then I just want all the power I'll ever have. And then boom. And then that's when he loses it. And for me, rereading it in the manga for the first time after seeing it in the anime, I cried because I started really thinking about what this little boy is going through in his head right now. And he's really blaming himself, you know? And then on top of blaming himself, he's trying to tell himself, no, it's not my fault. So he's trying to be an adult about it and be realistic, but then he's being too realistic because he's thinking, but what if I wasn't there? He could have got away. He would have realized faster. And it's those things, because all of that buildup that Gon was trying to suppress throughout that arc, right there at the end, it blew up. Right there. And it blew up in a way where he was too young to really know what to do with it. He didn't know what to do. And to me, that's such a dark, deep moment because you remember he's a kid, you know, and Togashi says it, he goes, I didn't want Gon to be this bright kid through and through, because what bright kid just leaves the mother figure in his life to go search for the dad that technically wasn't around his whole life? Who does that? You just like literally he said that, like, that doesn't make sense. So I had to give him this edginess to him. I had to give him these moments of like, oh, this kid's a little rough, you know, he a little monster, you know. He had to give that to him, and that's why I love that moment and why it hit so hard for me, and it's such a dark moment.
Is there a second moment that you feel like is sort of on that level? Because I agree. I think that that was particularly rough. Before you get to the second moment, I think one thing I wanted to say about that was I think what made that so poignant was how Pito was just so calm, right? Like Pito was just like, you know, I don't want to do this, but yeah, I'm gonna do this. Right? Like just so calm. Just be like, I'm gonna kill this little boy. You know, I like, and almost just being like, just this like
He
was
said, "I'm
just,
sorry." He said, "I'm
you know,
sorry." He said, "I'm so sorry," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
you know, and I'm like, I don't even know if I bought it. I feel like I did, but I was also like, that's all you got? You did all this to this
I
little
bought
boy,
it
and all you got is, I'm so sorry.
because what it was I think Pito's mind was, okay, they have Kamugi, so I'm just going to heal this dude so Kamugi's okay. But then when Pito seen that it was Kite he was talking about and finally realized who exactly he was talking about, Pito was just like, oh no, I can't kid. Like, and for first, Pito was worried about Kamugi because Pito was thinking, I can't even heal this dude. Like, what? You know, like I can't help him. What do you mean? Like, I can't even complete this deal. And then when they realized everything was fine, and he was like, Pizza was like, okay, cool. But then looked at Gon like, I'm sorry, you so distraught and you really hurt. And I know you felt this, but I gotta protect the king and you're a threat. I gotta kill you. And like to me, it's like both sides, you kind of felt there like almost despair, but the necessity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. What's the maybe we could maybe what we can do is like we can all give one moment and then we'll like run it back and give like another moment.
Yeah. Oh, because the chat bringing up Gyro, Kamuru brought up Gyro's flashback.
Oh
That's
my lord!
the
I can't.
amazing. Oh my lord, that was amazing. Amazing
All right.
backstory.
What I want to do, I definitely want to get into that. But so and we will. I want to get to Tails, before before we get to because that I saw that in the chat and I was like, damn, they really picked it. Whew. Whew.
Well,
Right.
I agree. You know, I mean, Chimera and I definitely had most of the crushing moments, and I mean, Peter's moment also came to my mind, and I was thinking about something else, but right now it's just not clicking. I mean, how Killua was being treated by his family kind of hit, and
Yes.
how he was used and abused, and this was pretty dark for me, and how this hit really hard. So,
Yeah.
but then
I think
I've been thinking,
their whole overall relationship, as you said, is just a really dark. One of the darkest themes in Hunter x Hunter is just the Zodic relationships. Like just that whole family dynamic is just when you think about them, you're like, y'all are nuts. Like, y'all need help. Like,
yeah. But when he's sitting down with his father and where he's trying to talk to him, you know, about friends, it was so uncomfortable to watch. I
yes.
don't know.
Yeah, because you're watching it and you're like, no, you don't mean this.
Yeah, exactly,
You don't mean this at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I was like, bitch, no.
And I think that's what and it's so crazy because you can be if you're a surface level consumer, you'll be so fooled by the second time around too when he comes back and Killua bites his thumb and he goes, if I was to not do this right now for Gon, that'd be me betraying a friend, right? And Silver agreeing to go take him back to Aluka. If you're like a surface level consumer, you're thinking, oh wow, you know, he believes in Killua and Killua's friends. It's like, no, like
No.
he just wants to see how this dude's controlling Aluka. Like he just wants to see how are you controlling Aluka. We want to know how. Everybody watch him. Illumi, you still got the pins in his head. Like this is like seriously, and it's so crazy how Togashi will fool you if you don't really pay attention. I love it, man. I love it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And second moment. I'm not so sure right now.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
we can.
Aluka, I think
Mm.
Aluka's her gender identity and being accepted by the few people who cared about her, also
Yes.
about the Zoldyck household and the the antagonism, but how she was accepted by a few people. This kind of hit hard.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
the Alpha
Yeah.
Nanako.
Like thinking about in that, like I think definitely one of the not darkest, but maybe saddest moments. Like I think when Killa was just like, all right, Nanika, I you can't come out no more. I was like, oh, and then Nanaka's like, oh my god, my heart,
Yes.
it brought it
And then
I
add
that was
insult to
a crying
injury,
moment.
Luca comes out and goes, "Are you being mean?" Like,
You were.
and you're just like, "Whoa."
I was like, damn, Killua, you doing a lot right now, and I could understand it, but you're doing a lot. This ain't it. Like,
I
that
also
was rough.
remembered another moment like that was pretty dark, but how the Miriam and the blind girl, what's her name? Help me.
Kamugi, yeah,
Movie.
Kamugi.
Yeah, I mean their death was pretty dark in my opinion,
I agree.
and how that was dark. That was because she was a character I cared about a lot. You and how she just decided to basically die. I mean, I don't know how to feel about the writing if I'm honest, but I mean that was a lot.
Yeah, that was. I think,
Yeah.
and I think about that Kamugi and Miriam moment to me was the one thing that I wish Togashi would have done with that was show me what was Kamugi going through, because Kamugi literally was playing Gungi to survive. That was
Yeah.
her life. Like that
Mm.
was her lifeline. So it
Mm.
made me just go like, that's why she was so comfortable with dealing with Miriam and not really even fully processing that he wasn't human and all of that, because she was so used to not having anything and Gunji being all she had. And so I
Mm.
just wanted more on where she came from. What made you get into Gungi like this? You know what I'm saying? Like that was all I really wanted. I still think he did a great job in doing it, but when you bringing up that writing, yes, I think that is because you wonder like, whoa, okay, why didn't she have anybody? Why was she by herself? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why was she going through such terrible things as this blind girl in the world, even though she's clearly so smart to understand this game? And, it's just, it makes you wonder so much about her.
Yeah. I mean, I think there should be more. It's not good to just whenever there's a disabled character, like they get a lot of wisdom or some really special power, or they can magically do something. Like for her, it was her gaming abilities, I guess, and it kind of falls flat to me. But it still kind of hit really. I guess that's why it hit so how it did, because yeah, we don't know a lot about her, but it
Yeah.
must be so hard that she really goes for this ending or something, although we don't know. I don't know.
It's one of those situations.
Mm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. I guess like the first dark moment for me is like the one that like really just like I just have an extremely hard time seeing that, and like even when I watch others react to the Hunter x Hunter anime, like when I get to that moment, I'm like, man, I gotta I gotta watch this in my bed because I just need to be under my blankets warm and just like
I
because that's how
understand,
dark it
yeah.
is. The moment where Ponzu's death, that
Oh, that was
kills
crazy.
me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like I don't know anybody that watched that scene and was like, "All right, I'm out." Just like SpongeBob, I'm out. All right, like I'm done. I gotta get up the chair. I gotta get up the chair. Like that hit me. And I think the thing for me is just there's just so many elements to it. Where we understand that Ponzu can't use Nen, she's not someone who is like she shouldn't be. She really should not. She shouldn't have been there.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like I don't know who was like, all right, you know what? We're gonna send Ponzu to deal with, to just be around and and be on this squad. Like, could we let her learn Nen though?
Right.
Could we let her do that, please?
But even Paco, man,
yeah, that was rough.
he was getting his brains picked.
It's funny. It's funny how you mentioned her death because it was one of the moments I also had in my mind where I was like, okay, holy shit, I did not expect that, and how it's not a character I cared about, but the impact it had was just. I was thinking about that too. When someone mentioned dark moments, I was thinking about her death and how dark. Yeah. So I completely agree.
And it was
I don't know why I didn't mention it myself, but this was one of the first things that actually flashed my mind. So
yeah, it was man, because you knew, right? It was just like there is nothing that she can do here. She does not have Nen. She can't defend herself, and it's over. Like it's and I think and in any other arc maybe it wouldn't have been as. I don't feel like Togashi would have went as far.
Yeah.
With that, but he decided to do that, and it wasn't just that she died. It was just like, okay, now we have this just sicko Chimera ant who's found a weapon, right? Who's found a human weapon, and is like, oh, I have a gun. This is fun, and it's just the sadism in it, just constant shots. And then it's like, oh, no more bullets. Just like sick. And then when Kite and Gon and Killua and Kite's team and the rest of his sort of squad find her remains. Oh my, I can't. It's just like I can't. To me, that's like it's a moment I've only ever seen it twice. I've rewatched Hunter x Hunter a bunch of times and I've reread Hunter x Hunter a bunch of times, but I've only ever gone through that moment twice. Like visually.
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
I can't.
I get that when I get toward the end. I'd be like, I don't even want to watch this no more. I'd be like, why am I doing this to myself again?
That was hard. But that was yeah. But do we have?
I am going to be having to get off soon, guys, to be able to break fast. Soon.
Yeah,
just letting you guys know.
Okay, so what we'll do is maybe we can go through the second moment, if we have one, and then we'll end there.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Could do that. All right. So does anyone have a second moment outside of the first?
Yeah, I mentioned a few before. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go back too hard on the Paco moment, but the literal picking at your brains for the information was beautiful. Like the literal picking at his brain. That was amazing. With the antennas from the other ant, that was so cool. And it was dark though. It was very scary, but it was cool. It was a scary moment, but it was very cool.
Ooh. And it's little things, like the build up to that where he's hiding, and and to me, I just feel like a little kid when I'm in that scene because I'm just going back to remembering when I'm hiding from someone, I'm like, oh no, what's gonna, if you to me, all right, so I had parents who were, they were all right, if you get in trouble, you gonna get a whooping. So so all my brothers, we just like if we knew we were in trouble, we just find a hiding spot. We'd be like, all right, I'm taking the closet, you taking under the bed, you taking the the bathroom tub, like we just scatter. You know what I mean? And when I see that when Pac is just hiding, I'm like, because you know he's gonna get found. You know he's gonna get found.
I did not know. I'm not
gonna
lie to you. I did not know. I'm not going to even lie to you, man. I was hoping. I was hoping and praying. I was hoping and praying, man. Man, I was so scared for him, bro. I was because when he started walking away, when Pito started walking away, and then goes, by the way, why is there a human hiding under those bones? I said, what the fuck? I was saying, then he froze up. He was like, what? I was like, dog, nah, man. I was like, this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
Oh, man. That was hard. I guess, like, the second moment, man, there are a bunch. But one of the moments that I mentioned in the chat, the gyro stuff is like, oh. But I think even more so for me was the Yunji? Is that his name? The Chimera like centaur, like it's just
the one that killed Gyro in them.
Yeah,
yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
You know, and he came through with the human slaves. Oh,
yes,
and that was another one where I was just like, this arc is just doing
the
absolute most.
Mm-hmm.
It was doing the most. Like Takashi was really doing the most. Like he didn't have to do that. He did not have to like. Why?
Man, because he wants to hit you in every fashion he wants to hit you on every level. You know, he wants to hit you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. He just wants to hit you hard.
Sexually.
You everywhere. He wants to hit you everywhere. I'm telling you, Togashi's a monster.
Ooh, that was hard. I was like, man. This like, and you just see something like they were just and I guess like the darkest moments sort of like birth like the most just like intense like feelings of like just like vengeance. Like to me, I was like, those ants gotta die. Like those particular ants, like the ant that was like, oh, I'm just gonna like roll around with a gat, like just nah, you gotta die. Like I need to see you dead. And then like Yunji, like the Chimera Centaur, like I was like, I gotta see you dead. Like you cannot be walking around here in this Hunter x Hunter verse.
Exactly.
After committing those atrocities. No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Right.
So when Kite hit him up, I was like, oh, this is good. Like this is it. This is what I want to see. I need to see this. I need to see Kite end this dude. So
I agree.
That was definitely like a moment where I was like, man, this is like, just rough times.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why Chimera and it's kind of my favorite. It has most of these moments, I guess.
Yeah, he waited the whole series to just be like, okay, here. It's like go through depression, be hurt, feel pain. That's exactly what he did.
Okay. So I think we will end it here. All right. And in the future we'll definitely do it earlier. I have like the settings that I needed. Like it was just like it would have started way earlier, but I had like technical difficulties. I had to like I don't know, like my Mac was acting up. It was ridiculous, but I figured it out. So I have the settings set up in OBS for future streams, so we won't have an issue with that. But thank y'all for coming through. Shouts out to shouts out to the folks in the chat.
Thank you, chat.
Like Hunter x Hunter streams. Anytime I do a Hunter x Hunter stream, like the chat is just next level. Just next level. Folks coming through with the ideas and the thoughts and phenomenal. Like that. And we'll get to the gyro stuff too, because we're gonna get to the Chimera Ant arc for the next stream. So we'll definitely get into gyro and what was going on there and how we feel about that. So shouts out to the chat. Shouts out to definitely heartwarming yeah, for real, facts more than haze. Definitely heartwarming moments. We're gonna start next stream. That's my cat. He just shook his head. If you heard that, but Next stream we will get to. We'll start with heartwarming moments because I think we're definitely gonna need that.
There's a
just like in
lot.
this,
There's a
so many.
bunch.
Oh man,
Yeah.
we're gonna have quite a few ready. So we'll start with that. Then we'll get into the expedition and succession stuff, and then we'll get to the Chimera Ant stuff, like those arcs. All right. Shouts out to Danchou and Tails for coming through. They were like y'all were fantastic. I mean, as always, coming through with that Hunter x Hunter heat.
Thank you for
All
letting
right,
me
just
come.
brilliant minds. And we're gonna go because got stuff to do.
Yes,
Right.
about to break
To
fast.
the day.
Thank you for letting me come, man. I appreciate it.
Not always, man. Always.
So thanks for having me.
Always, Tails. Always.
Be safe, everyone.
So we're gonna go. Thank y'all for coming through. All right. Leave a like if you didn't leave a like. It that is appreciated. Subscribe if you want more of that Hunter x Hunter content. I'm gonna try to make this a pretty maybe if it can be a weekly thing, maybe we can make it a weekly thing. Like we can make it like a Saturday sort of thing or a Sunday sort of thing. Maybe that's something we could do.
Sunday is not preferred on my end because it's pretty late always.
Okay, so we'll figure out times and days, but maybe we'll try to make it like either a weekly thing or a bi-weekly thing. We'll figure it out. We'll get it set up. All right, for that Hunter x Hunter greatness. Feel free to subscribe. I know Dancho's got a channel.
Yes.
Tails, Tails, Dancho's a channel and Twitter. All right. Tails has a Twitter, as well as other links. I would say. So, if you want to shout those out now, you can. And then we'll end the stream. All right.
Yeah, my Twitter handle is just.
Sorry. Go.
My Twitter handle is just @TalesOfColor. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff on there, but not right now. Not a lot about manga, unfortunately. Some other stuff, but you can still follow. Especially if you're playing Animal Crossing. Like, I need someone to send me kitchen stuff. Like, if you want to join, you can join.
I like it. My Twitter is Dancho's Hideout. My channel is also Dancho's Hideout. I'm a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, so I just like doing random videos about Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter reviews, and character discussions. I just recently started last month, so yeah, mess with me. Follow me on Twitter. I like video games. That's about it.
All right, cool. All right, thank y'all for coming through. Again, you can find me here on my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe if that's what you want to do. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter pretty often. You can find me at the Manga Scholar. I also have a Patreon that I've just started, putting out content on there, manga reviews mainly. So if you want to check out a couple of manga reviews, feel free to check that out. The links are in the description for my platforms. I'm gonna put the links for Danchou and Tails in the description as well after the stream's done. But you can also find them on Twitter. All right. Thank y'all for coming through. This is a dope stream. I had a lot of fun. I'm the Black Manga Critic, and I'm out, chess.